Përshëndetje, sot në studion e Agjencisë Telegrafike Shqiptare kemi të ftuar ambasadorin e Republikës së Polonisë në Shqipëri, zotin Karol Bachura, për të folur për marrëdhëniet politike, ekonomike, por dhe kulturore mes të dy vendeve. Mr. Ambassador, it's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, and especially with the Albanian Telegraphic Agency, with which the Polish agency signed an agreement last year for cooperation. So it's a pleasure, and I want to wish all the viewers Gëzuar vitin e ri.
An event that shocked our country, the earthquake of 26 November. How are your feelings about this event?
It was a quite shocking event, and especially taking into account the enormous amount of victims that the event took with it. I think that most of us at that time felt Albanian, and we were all Albanian at that moment. And certainly the solidarity that was among the nations in helping Albania, and also the solidarity among Albanians, was something that is exemplary.
And can you tell us your feelings about that night?
Well, Poland is not affected by earthquake shocks, so this was quite an event that will stay in my mind for a very, very long time. And like I said, it was a quite shocking night, which provided an unforgettable negative experience. And later, when I found out that this was the biggest earthquake since 40 years, and the one in which the death toll was highest in a century, and one of the highest death toll earthquakes in the world in 2019, it was even more shocking. But the solidarity among the Albanians, like I said, was exemplary and very positive and building.
The European Commission has earmarked 15 million euros initially for Albania to pass this tragedy, and on 17 February it's expected the Donors Forum together in Brussels, and Poland, as one of the countries that is part of the European Union, will take part. How do you expect that these countries will help Albania?
Well, the post-disaster needs assessment report that is in the process of being drawn up together with the Albanian authorities, the United Nations, the World Bank, and the European Union, will give, I would say, road signs where the aid needs to be forwarded and how big the aid will be. I think that there will be a substantial amount of aid devoted to the affected areas and to the victims of the earthquake. So I'm very hopeful that this conference will gather hundreds of representatives from various countries, not only the European Union member countries, and also various institutions, international institutions, financial institutions. So I'm hopeful that this international solidarity will certainly follow, and Albania will not be alone.
And regarding the relations between our two countries, how do you assess them?
I think that they are expanding in a very good way. Let me tell you that officially we have over 80 years of diplomatic relations. We have established diplomatic relations in 1937, but from the historical point of view, our relations date back to the 15th century. In 1446, George Kastriot Skanderbeg was recognized by the Polish-Hungarian court as a diplomatic partner. So I consider our relations centuries old.
And where do you think they should improve?
I think that there is a place for improvement in every field. The field that I'm looking forward for an improvement is the economic field. In 2016, during the visit of our Prime Minister in Albania, we have established first Polish-Albanian Business Forum, and the Prime Minister arrived with the representatives of the economic institutions as well as the business circles. So we had the first B2B meetings and also agreements signed with the chamber offices, chambers of commerce, and this annually is a meeting that's taking place either in Poland or in Albania. Last year there was the third meeting in Poland during the Poznań Western Balkan Summit. So I'm very hopeful. The turnover in the last years has been expanding largely. In 2016 we had just slightly over 50 million euros turnover. In 2018 we already had around 75 million euros. I don't have the data for the last year yet. However, I think that there is a huge possibility for further expansion, at least to have 3-digit numbers in place.
And regarding the European integration, do you think Albania deserves the opening of the negotiations?
We have been always a staunch supporter in Euro-Atlantic integration of all the countries that wish to be integrated into Euro-Atlantic institutions and that meet the requirements. This is actually one of the main pillars of our foreign policy since overthrowing of communism in 1989. Actually, when our Prime Minister came here in December 2016, after the acceptance of the justice reform in July of that year, the Prime Minister said that, according to us, Albania should open the negotiations. And that was 2016.
Yes. And what do you think of the proposal of French President Emmanuel Macron about to reform Europe and then expand it?
We have been one of the advocates of the reforms of the European Union since the time of the question of Brexit. We see that the moves that led to Brexit are not only one-sided. So the fault lies on both sides, and there are things that need to be reformed in Brussels as well. We have seen the first proposals of the French side. We are waiting for more substantial input on that proposals. However, we don't think that they should affect the processes that are already in place concerning the opening of the negotiations and the expansion, further expansion of the European Union, especially now in the time of Brexit, and especially now when third actors try to play a more empowering role on the continent. We think that the European Union, as a union of around 500 million people, can afford to expand by another 18 million people, meaning the population of the region of the Western Balkan 6. But we are doubtful whether we can afford, as the European Union, to have a blank space on the continent that would allow for third actors to play their role in forwarding their policies and focusing the European Union on certain matters that need not be focused. Albania is already our ally in North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Montenegro has become recently a member of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. We hope that North Macedonia will soon become another member of NATO. And we hope that the expansion of the European Union will also follow, because this is in our interest.
And you have talked before about the justice reform. How do you see this reform, and do you think it will succeed?
I think that I consider the justice reform the mother of all reforms. It's an extremely revolutionary process, and certainly some process that needs adjustments, but is on the way of success. We've seen recently the establishment of certain bodies. We have seen the effects of the vetting process. Some critics say that there is no functioning main bodies of the justice, but we needed to first verify and adopt new bodies that would later on lead to the selection of the judges in the main justice bodies of the country. So I think that gradually, but constantly, the process is for success, and I'm very proud of the way that the Albanians are approaching this issue, and we as Poland know how difficult it is to put through a variable justice reform.
And in economic terms, what are the sectors that Polish investors are interested in investing in Albania?
This is another thing that touches upon the justice reform, because the justice reform touches also on the question of corruption, on the question of real estate, on the question of ownership, certain guarantees, and so on. There is a huge inflow recently of Polish tourists, and I think that they are the best ambassadors for Polish business to see where to invest. Our investment in Albania is not high. It's slightly over €500,000. So this is more of a symbolic investment, but the potential is here. There is a huge potential in agriculture. There is a huge potential in the touristic sector, also in the sector of furniture, sector of infrastructure. Many possibilities that are awaiting for the Polish business to be more interested into this region, and we as the embassy are trying as much as possible and as we can to have the interest there. Thus, we have established this forum of Polish-Albanian business, which also allows an exchange of views between the businesses and the chambers of commerce on the issues that are put in question by some of the businesses. I always say that being a businessman also involves kind of a adventure, and you have to invest, and you have to see whether this investment proves well. But you will never know unless you invest. So the Albanian possibilities are here, and I hope that there will be a larger inflow of Polish investors to Albania. We are present here in some ways. We have the Polish cosmetics company Inglot, We have a lot of Polish cosmetics present on the shelves of Albanian stores. A lot of house appliances that the Albanians buy under the logo, international well-known logos, are also made in Poland. We are actually the largest producers of home appliances on the continent, as well as we are also one of the largest producers of furniture. And sometimes I see that the furniture that is imported from other countries is actually made in Poland. So in that way, the television screens of well-known companies are also in large part made in my country. So you might have Polish products and not even know about them.
The Polish tourists, as you said, are the most numerous in the Albanian coast, especially in Durrës. And do you think their number will grow?
Yes, I think it will grow. In 2018, we have hit a record high, over 150,000 tourists. The last year, I still don't have the data, but I think it's going to be about 135. But this year, we are actually looking for a higher number than 150. Why? First of all, our national carrier will open a direct link Warsaw-Tirana, Tirana-Warsaw from June this year. This will allow the Polish tourists to fly directly to Albania, and in 90 minutes they will be here. It will be a lot easier. And that's one thing. Second thing, from what I know from the Polish tour operators, they have expanded the idea of enlarging the number of charter flights before the tragic earthquake. But after the tragic earthquake, they have not changed this. Not only that, they are thinking about expanding the time span of Polish tourists in Albania, not only during the summer season, but also from April to late October. I think that if the Albanian side would invest more in the mountainous areas, I think that there is a possibility that you might have tourist season all throughout the year. So I personally consider the Polish tourists to be number one in Albania. Why? Because the countries that precede Poland usually have a large Albanian diaspora. Poland has a symbolic Albanian diaspora, and most of the tourists that come to Albania are Polish. And what is interesting, most of the tourists that come to Albania come back. I have met many tourists that have been for 2, 3, 4, 5 times already in Albania, and they are coming with their new friends, bringing new people, and I think this is the best PR for tourism to have.
Have you traveled yourself through Albania?
Yes, I have traveled a bit, and I think that both the mountains, the seaside are extremely beautiful. But what is the best is the attitude of the people towards tourists. Your openness, friendliness, warmth is something exemplary, and I would consider that Albania, after my country, is perhaps one of the best tourist destinations.
What impressed you the most? The sea, the mountains, the archaeological sites? What impressed you the most?
All have impressed me the most, and every time I go somewhere, I'm more enchanted and discover more things that I was not aware of. And I think that this is also one of the assets that you have. There is this point of adventure when you go to Albania. You know, Albania has been a closed country for many decades during the communist era, and it needs rediscovering. So
yeah, the last secret of Balkans.
Yes, yes, and it's extremely beautiful. It's natural, and the people are very, very friendly.
And what about our traditional cuisine? Do you like it?
I'm a vegetarian. So being in the Balkans, and this is not my first country of post in the Balkans, it has been hard to be a vegetarian, but not in Albania, because I found many dishes that are wonderful, and certainly meals that I will miss in my country. Also vegetables, also fruits. And as I said, and the company. The company is among the Albanian people. This is the treasure that you certainly have. Don't lose it. I would like to add that also we have great cultural events. Recently, we've published the third already almanac for the years 2017 and 2019, which informs about the publications and translations in Polish literature in the last 2 years. There have been over a dozen positions. I think that one translation per quarter of a year is not bad, and also we have had various cultural events. We've started in 2017. We've started the Polish Film Week in Marubi. We have started also in 2018. We have started the Polish Christmas carols concerts in December, and recently on Sunday. On the 19th, we have had a promotion of the Colors of Orthodoxy, which was done in cooperation with the Polish Orthodox Church and the Albanian Orthodox Church. The promotion of an album about the Orthodox Church in Albania, because we are extremely impressed by the interreligious council that is functioning in Albania, and this cooperation between various religions. We are not only impressed, but we have underlined this, and the Interreligious Council received a very prestigious award, Sergio Di Mello Award, as one of the organizations in the world that is promoting cooperation between religions, and this is exemplary, especially in this region.
It's really a pleasure to hear that Poland has made so much cultural events in Albania.
We will have other cultural events as well. As you know, in 2018 we have unveiled the monument of Saint John Paul II, Karol Bachura, because in the 25th anniversary of his visit to Albania. It is said that Saint John Paul II once stated that besides Poland, the country that is closest to his heart is Albania. Not only because Albania gave to the world Saint Mother Teresa, but because it suffered for so long, so unjustly. And it is not also without reason that in Albania, the first parish that was named after Saint John Paul II is in Albania. The first one in the world, 5 days after the canonization of John Paul II. We have also had the Chopin events. In 2018, we have done something exemplary, I think globally exemplary. Airport of Tirana, we have arranged a concert marathon for the 100th anniversary of regaining of independence of Poland, involving 50 pianists from the age of 4 to the age of 24, I would say, and it was a marathon from 9 o'clock till 8 p.m. Over 100 pieces of Chopin played live. So when people arrived to Tirana, they were shocked, because I do not recall another airport in the world that provided a classical live music all day long. So this was one of the ways to promote my culture, but also one of the ways to promote Albania, and one of the ways to fight the negative stereotypes that are lingering here and there about this country, which are quite unjust.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you for the interview.
Thank you, it's my pleasure, and anytime that ATA would wish to have an interview, the embassy is open, so we invite you, and thank you once again for cooperation, and I hope that you are satisfied with the cooperation with the Polish side. Thank you very much.